So today I'm doing a little bit of a different live stream here. Maybe not really. I mean, I'm sitting down in the park like I've done many times. Um, but I really need to vent my mind if that's possible. I feel very much of, I don't know, I wouldn't want to say brain fog, but I just feel very sluggish, or is that even a word also? I mean, just kind of tired and unfocused a little bit. And I guess I have my explanation in the headline. Pretty much 1.5 weeks ago, I was playing a football match, soccer game. Very fun match. It was a great match. Like somewhat semi-professional, I could say. It was not a professional league or anything, but it was 11 against 11. I would estimate I played most part of the match. Or actually, yeah, I think maybe estimate I played 65 minutes. But in the last 2 minutes, I mean literally last 2-3 minutes something, I had an impact where I was playing defense and I ran after this guy, and I cannot remember exactly how it happened, but I know that I made like a very sudden stop, like with an extreme force and extreme speed. I blocked, or I stepped on the ball, the football, and somehow I took all my force and stopped on my left leg. So yeah, I found out, and I will get to that as well, I most likely have injured my medial collateral ligament, which is the inside part of your knee. And yeah, I was done immediately. It hurted so bad, you know, it was a horrible pain, very sudden pain, and my knee swelled up immediately, pretty much immediately. I didn't think much about it. I went basically the whole last week with this extreme pain, no painkillers, no anti-inflammatory pills, no ice. Yeah, ice I used for sure to cool the injury basically. And I just thought like, okay, let's go a few days to see if this is gonna correct itself, this knee injury that I had. So last Friday I decided, okay, I think I should actually go to the hospital now. I will do it. It's time. I need to figure out whether this is a fracture, but I was very certain it was not a fracture. So my experience going to the public hospital here in Portugal was the first thing, I walked all the way to I went to two. So the first hospital, I arrived there, and apparently they did not have an emergency, what do I say? Like, no, they didn't have an emergency in that hospital. It was only like scheduled appointments and stuff. It was very surprising and very weird. So I took a Uber to the next one because it was much further, much more far away. And let me try to remember. This was past Friday. So I waited in line, obviously, in the emergency. I got up to this balcony or this encounter where, first of all, the guy in there inside of that booth, kind of a strange attitude, kind of a strange, hello Janet, kind of a strange attitude in terms of having a kind of funny smirk on his face, and you know, you can tell someone is kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't want to say making fun of you, but sort of like thinking, because he asked me about, do you have this, do you have that, do you have this and that, many things. And I just said no to everything. I just have my passport. Explain my situation. I've been working in Portugal before. I had a private insurance before. And I will get to the details how you could get by much better and way better in terms of price. So he said he had told me he had to inform me that it could be up to 140 euros for this exam basically. And I said, yeah, I mean, what can I do? I think I'm here. I have to do this now. And I don't know. He just had this kind of weird smirk and like maybe he was thinking like damn tourist or something. I don't know. Just a vibe, you know. Whatever. I waited some more after in a kind of, I don't know how long I waited. It was a lot of waiting, you know. And then I got into this room where there was two guys working in front of a computer, just asking, why are you here? So yeah, briefly explaining why I'm here. I told what's happened, and then okay, off you go. He say you're off to the X-ray. Okay, sure. And this was kind of what like I expected. Hello Prime, Yash. I kind of knew there was not gonna be a fracture, but they sent me off to the X-ray anyway. I felt kind of annoyed by it because I kind of knew, considering I could move my leg and I know like strange feeling about my bone. But I will tell you, it turned out to be a good idea. I went to the X-ray anyway. So I waited some more there. The X-ray took literally like once I got into the room and do the exam for the X-ray, took literally I don't know 5 minutes. She said, "Are you English?" No, I'm not. And then yeah, they sent me to another waiting room after the X-ray. I waited a whole lot of time there before I came to the orthopedist. I don't know how to say it in English. Orthopedia. There I finally got to see a specialist. I guess she was. And yeah, we talked for maybe 10 minutes, and she said, yeah, it's no fracture. And I said, I know, I knew it. I told her again like how I feel, and she did a few, I couldn't even call it examination on me, not like grabbing my leg and twist and turn or anything like that. Like very, very, very brief. She said, you should probably do an MRI. And I said, yes, that's exactly what I think too. We don't have that here in the emergency. It's a separate appointment you have to do for that, but it's waiting. There's really long waiting times. And I told her, yeah, I can a little bit about the situation with my insurance and stuff like that. And yeah, after that I was finished, no fracture. Recommendation to do MRI to see more details about the ligaments, stuff like that. And I went out, paid 116 euros for basically like, I don't know, all in all, 10-15 minutes actual consulting and actual tests, X-ray stuff, you know. That hurted a lot. But it could have been as cheap as about 20 euros, and I will get to it. I even said, she asked me, do you have the EU health card when I was gonna pay? No, unfortunately I don't. And she said, can you have a discount anyway? Because I mean, I'm European Union. Sometimes they can help you out anyway, but yeah, they didn't do that, so yeah. Off I went, I was done with it. That was it. That was my experience with a public hospital here in Portugal. English, yeah, kind of good. They spoke English, not in the first place, they didn't have the emergency, but yeah, the next place actually did. And it's actually a university hospital and one of the biggest in the country, so yeah. But the thing is, if you are going to the public hospital, make sure that you have either something called utente. Utente is something that you get if you are working here, you're paying social security. You can sign up for your personal utente, which means that you sign up by your local hospital, local public hospital. And as a contributory system, you can get health care in the public healthcare system, just like the Portuguese, for a fraction of the price it would be if you just went completely private, like I did. I had to pay this X-ray and I guess some kind of meeting with the doctor, whatever. Probably paid for the waiting time also, considering how expensive it turned out to be. So definitely do that if you're working and contributing Social Security. So you will get, I guess you will have a citizen card, or even, I don't know if the Utente is a separate card for this, but either way, sign up for that. And you know where to go in your if you're living here, working here, paying Social Security, taxes, you know, this stuff. You know where to go to your local hospital and just sign up for it. The next thing, if you're European Union, this is what I've done now. I have signed up for my EU health card. It took literally 10 seconds. And you can get access to the same, you can get access to the public hospitals on the same conditions as the locals if you are a EU citizen and you have the EU citizen health card. So those are the things that I should definitely do. But now, since I'm not working here, I'm not sure how it's going to be with the Utente, but it could probably work anyway. For the last part, I think I would just look over a private health insurance, but I also don't think that it's actually necessary if I can just get access to my EU health card. So that's that. The positive news about my knee is that now I can walk almost just regularly, just as normal, and I can say it's maybe 60-70% feels like normal. It's in some certain positions, and I bend my knee too much, it hurts really bad. So I take this very serious. I already started my rehab. I was actually sitting here on the bench doing some rehab before I started this stream. And I will absolutely be serious about my rehab, maybe even go to the gym to do it, but I think I can do a lot of exercises home to strengthen my knee. The ligament is tricky. It's different grades, basically, how you can have a sprain or stretch it or have it torn apart completely. The good thing that I ended up doing the X-ray was that if you have a ligament injury, normally in your, is it tibia part, the lower part of your leg, under your knee, where it's attached there, the ligament. If you can have such a bad accident or injury that it rips off of your tibia, your bone, so that means you're having a fracture, and then you might need surgery. This tricky, since I didn't do my MRA yet. I don't know if I will do, because I feel it's healing very, very well. And I believe, pain is so relative. Sometimes you think that you have a real bad injury, but maybe you have a high tolerance for pain and you just don't realize it's completely torn off. But from all of my research, all of my tests that I've been able to do by myself, I think that I have a grade 1, but could be even possibly a grade 2. So it's a bit torn, not sprained, I could say. I think it's called sprained, which means it's basically a bit ripped or a bit torn. But the beautiful thing with the ligament is it normally, most of the time, especially this ligament injury that I have, the medial collateral ligament, the MCL, sorry. That is normally always healed completely by itself. Even if it's a grade 3, they can find to each other and it heals. But you will definitely need to do rehab, consistent rehab for a quite long time before you go back to a sport, like me playing football. I will not go back for, I don't even know, to be honest, quite some time. Yeah, it's a lot of things I just need to vent my mind. I feel just a lot of things that happen. This knee injury, I just found out, I don't want to talk too much about this. I have in family like a serious health pretty serious health concern that I found out about yesterday that is over me now. Um, and yeah, it's scary and just it's a lot of things happening right now, I feel. And then now this afternoon, found out that seems like the washing machine was having some problem. It's not doing the centrifugation or centrifugation. How do you say it? The spinning of the fuck, now I dropped the name. The drum itself. That is like, okay, what is that supposed to mean? Quite new machine. Thing with jobs, very uncertain, but hopeful, very hopeful. I am really, really hopeful about that. It's just so strange when there are things happening. But I am well aware of that. How life is sometimes like when you have something coming, something bad, then there is a lot of other things that are bad that is coming as well. It's all coming in a big, big package, and sometimes it's too scary and too big to comprehend or to be able to deal with. But yeah, we gotta stay strong and keep moving forward. It's the only thing. That's why I also think very much about. That's why I write about life and future here in this headline here for the stream. We know so little of the future, and I always say this. I think we're in for a very, very difficult time in the world. I mean, I think we already are. I mean, of course we are. Just look at people, look at social media destroying focus, relationships, comparison complexes. Look at war, look at inequalities, look at how difficult with jobs. I mean, the thing with jobs is a whole different topic by itself. I see so many videos, and of course that affects me also, probably not for the best, but I still have to keep myself updated about the reality. I think the job and unemployment is just worse than it actually says it is, and I see how things are. I talk a lot about this. I'm just gonna be very brief about it, but a lot of people just really, really struggling more and more, and that's why I write the future. The future is uncertain, but the end is always near. To to quote Morrison, but it's true. We shouldn't think too much about the future and absolutely not worry too much about the future, because just think about it. We just such a brief period we are here. Is it worth really walking around being anxious and not knowing about the future and thinking about how I need to be able to afford to invest for my future, or how is it gonna be in the future when I'm old and I'm not working now, or I'm not doing the job that I want now, how is that gonna impact my career in 5-10 years, and then I will be older, and now it's like this, and you can go on and go on and go on, and I can go on in my own head about these things, but I mean I am much better nowadays than I used to be. I guess it's very neurotic or anxious part of me that sometimes take over a little bit too much. But I know it's kind of pointless. It is a whole bunch of bullshit, to be honest. Just think obviously about the future. Don't become just like a daydreaming hippie. Keep a little bit of that, for sure. I mean, like I said, life happens now. And why would we want to miss out on the moment now when we know the future is not even for certain? There's nothing that is guaranteed. I mean, worst case scenario could be anything that just impact the whole global world and it become a plague, or you name it, it can be anything. I just think that keep obviously a plan for your future and chip away as much as you can. That's the thing, health-wise, eat right, money-wise, invest, put away a little bit here, a little bit there. most things are built over time. The same with health, you know. I got this great insight from a great YouTuber that I was watching the other day, like that with health, like building your strength, for example. If you like going to the gym, yeah, you go repeatedly. You go there and you come out a little bit better than when you went inside. Same with health. You're building like your inside and out with good food and healthy food over time. Sure, eat a little bit unhealthy here and there if you want to. But I mean, speaking of that, also going out eating. Yeah, it's really nice to go out and eat. I really like it. But choose your moments, because in all honesty, the quality is not really there. You know, you pay overly expensive a service that is not necessarily good all the time, unless you are going to some really overpriced expensive restaurant where they just have to really deliver. But if you go into just a mediocre place, you get like a good meal most of the time for sure, but it's absolutely nothing out of the ordinary that I think can compare to the price nowadays. But yeah, still Portugal, where I am, most of the time it's actually quite reasonable prices if you go between anything from like 5 euros to 12, 13, 14, 15 euros. You get like a nice lunch or a dinner, you know. So yeah, I worry a lot about things, you know. I think relationship wise, you know, you're thinking about, it's important to be when you're with someone to really work things out. If you want to be with each other, you have to be kind to each other, because life is not easy now. It's like it's same to friends. It's important to be kind to your friends and stand up for your friends, help your friends. I will pat I say pet myself, or yeah, clap myself a bit on the shoulder and stroke my ego a little bit now, because I helped a friend move here to Porto last weekend. Even with this bad knee injury, it was way worse than it is now also. But yeah, I was there as a support and I did what I could, because I know it's not easy for most people. It's just not that easy, you know. But then there are also people that have it just very, very, very easy. And back to the thing about the future, I sincerely believe in continuing to building something by yourself. I have been in a little bit of a strange time with my creativity, which is, by the way, one of the most important things that I have. I'm so glad that I have that. It's something that is very special to me personally. Creativity has a very special meaning to me on a very deep level. Like when I create something, it's a little bit like a time machine or a time capsule that you made this, and you can almost feel the nostalgia when you go back and look at it like years after. Not that I'm doing that all the time, but it's still something that is a part of you that you left behind. And same with photographs, you know, it's the same. You know what I mean when you see a photograph from a time that was just very special or dark or meaningful or whatever, you know. It's the same with creativity. So I think a lot about what I can turn my creativity into. I mean, when I think about previous products that I have created, previous pieces, it's so many things that you really can do when you have, for example, I found out that today that John Carpenter, the director of Halloween, the old classic movie, he's like, now they are doing so much stuff, like that's really like a budget movie from 78. And then obviously the sequels and all the others, I don't know how many there are, but maybe, yeah, I don't remember. I have them all, but I forgot how many. Is it 5 or 6, 7? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's a lot of them. But the interesting part is that how they can make like a budget movie that become like a very cult classic. And that costed, I mean, probably not much to make, but now just the brand itself is worth I don't know, so much. And the thing is that it coming out like reissues or new ways of using the brand and putting it to like t-shirts, tote bags, different kind of products is coming out with this brand from the making of that old budget movie. That's what I found. So, I mean, and that's the reason why I also create. You know, you can make a lot of things with your creations. You can turn it into, like, imagine you're writing a book. You can turn the character into a little figure that you then sell. You know, like a little collections item, for example. It's kind of interesting. It's not there's endless possibilities, is what I would like to say. Yeah.
Vamos aqui.
Yeah, you see, it's nothing for certain, that's for sure. So yeah, don't forget that we're rounding up around 30 minutes here now, coming up around 30 minutes. Yeah, remember that nothing is for certain. Life happens now, but then of course you want to keep a long-term perspective about finance, health, of course, the most important, and thinking about how you can turn something of your own into something, because the whole thing about having a job, I'm afraid going away more and more. I'm afraid. I mean, this thing about just having one, unless you're working for a really stable company that is not going anywhere. But otherwise, most things is like people start companies all the time and most of them don't succeed, you know. So trying to build something for the long term, whether that is through your creativity or is it starting, you name it, you know, whatever it's in your passion or something, because most things you can monetize. Most things you can turn into yeah, you know, you have a hobby. Most hobbies you can actually turn into some kind of monetization. Even a YouTube channel, you know. Maybe not this one. I of course I thought about it, but I never made a real attempt about it, I think. I looked at the requirements years ago and I just realized this is probably not going to happen. But they have probably changed and they probably have updated by now, but I just don't have any intention on, with this channel at least, trying to monetize it. But that is of course something I think about also if I would start another channel about some kind of commentary. Not, I would not like to say reaction video, but in a way it is when you are commentary, giving your personal commentaries to events that happens around the world or in Sweden or in Portugal, a little bit like a journalist or a cultural criticist or a cultural commentary, because I have a lot of, I can keep myself objective quite well. I am an observer and I am an anthropologist, so I have a lot of insight with terms of methodology and how I can analyze. I'm great in analyzations. So it's something that I definitely think about sometimes to kind of do, let's say, cultural, contemporary commentaries, philosophy. My channel is already very philosophical. I'm sometimes talking about this stuff that I'm mentioning, about social phenomena or cultural phenomena, and from a very philosophical standpoint and also a critical standpoint, because in the end of the day, what do we really know? Everything that we hear in the news, yeah, don't you think that there are always one agenda of it? I mean, if you seriously don't think that each channel has a specific agenda, you're really, really behind. I mean, in the mainstream media, I really sincerely believe it cannot be much of an objective standpoint there, because there are agendas in the world and there are interests, and no mainstream media think tank would cut off their arm that is financing them by saying something contradictory. Just think about it, why some people get banned. See you later.